Okay, this is my review of The Power of the Doctor. Yes, it was 4 days ago. I'm sorry. I've been having health issues and family health issues, so I'm behind on everything. If you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe, and any comments would be greatly appreciated. Any advice, any suggestions, as long as the language is clean, will stay on there. Um, the Power of the Doctor. It was made to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of the BBC. Doctor Who started in 1963, so it's hitting its 60th year next year. This was the final episode special done by Chris Chibnall. Woohoo! Good riddance. Sorry, I was not a Chris Chibnall fan. Loved him when he did Grace Point. Or Broadchurch, excuse me. Grace Point was the Fox version. I loved it that, but the Jodie Whittaker was good. Could have been better under better writing and better producing and better stories. That's my personal opinion. It starts out with a train and a bunch of Cybermen attacking the train. They're looking for some kind of crate. And the Doctor, Dan, and Yaz are on the train trying to stop them. They fail to. The Cybermen open up the crate, and it's a girl. Little girl. They grab the girl and teleport out. That's how it starts. We see a museum. We see Ace from the Seventh Doctor looking at a blank place on a museum wall where a painting used to be. It's been revealed 15 paintings have disappeared. What's that got to do with anything? We'll find out. Tegan gets a package with a child with a toy Cyberman in it. That'll come into play later. 15 seismologists have also disappeared. The mini Cyberman was not a toy. It was a tissue compressed, vacuum compressed thing that the Master does with this weapon. It was the Cyberman from the Flux storyline that he shrunk down. Dan during the battle with the Cybermen on the train. Dan's helmet gets shot in the back. It's only by hit luck and the strength of that helmet he wasn't killed. And he realizes just how dangerous this is and leaves the TARDIS for good. After the Doctor is alone, a Dalek shows up in the TARDIS, a transmission saying that he wants to give the Doctor information. There's a Dalek incursion of the Earth coming, and he wants the Dalek. He's tired of the way things go with the Daleks. He believes it's time for the Doctor. You give the Doctor the information to destroy the Daleks once and for all. 1916. There's one planet too many. There's another moon. It's shadowing Earth. The Master is Rasputin, famous scientist or doctor or madman, prophet, or I don't remember what Rasputin was. He's working for the Tsar. He's mind controlling the Tsar and his wife. What that has to do with it, I don't know. I still don't know. The second moon's made out of metal. I thought it was going to be the return of Mondas, which is where the Cybermen came from, or Gallifrey, but no, it turned out to be something totally different. They show the Doctor that finds another TARDIS, and they look, and it's where it says the information with the police box on in that sign. It says ha 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 ha. It's a Master's TARDIS. The Doctor takes the second TARDIS. Kate Stewart calls for help. The Doctor meets Ace and Tegan for the first time in 40, 50 years. They now work for UNIT, Ace and Tegan. Tegan is still mad at the Doctor for how the things ended with her, and Ace is still mad at the Doctor for the way things ended with her. they find some of the paintings, and they all have Rasputin's face on them, even the Mona Lisa and that. And in other words, the master had replaced it. We find out the seismologists are dead. Says to the doctor, the master says, this is the day that you die, that you're erased from all history. Unit takes down the master and arrests him. Yaz, the doctor, the master of the TARDIS. The dialect transmits the location where to meet. Vinder from the Flux crashes on the metal planet. His ship is totaled. Masters in unit custody. Insults Tegan, or insults Kate. Insults her father. Says something to Tegan about how's her Aunt Vanessa, who he shrunk down and made her with the tissue compression. And goes, keeping her in a dollhouse or what? And insults Ace. And Tegan goes, I can't wait to see you behind bars. We see a volcano in Bolivia. The doctor meets with the dialect. There's an army of dialects in there. Inside the miniature, not in the shrunken Cyberman, he reverses it, puts it back to full size, and it's a Trojan horse. It's full like other Cybermen. They come out attacking unit. The doctor is forced into a dialect casing and disappears. Yaz supplies is in the TARDIS. The Dalek, Cyberman, and Master are united. Metal planet powers up. It's going to create all the volcanoes on the Earth to erupt, killing Earth. So the Cybermen have taken over. Oh, the Doctor, the Master uses what they call force regeneration, and he enters the body of the Doctor, or he and the Doctor become one. But I mean, the female Doctor's still there, but she's pretty much dead or unconscious, and he's wearing the Joey Whittaker's costumes uniform. Later, he's got a little bit of everybody from the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th Doctor, and he even plays the 2nd Doctor's recorder. That was kind of cute. The Doctor's fighting from inside. Ace uses the parachute to escape the building before Kate seals it up and is going to destroy it. But Tegan says, I'm going back to help Kate, and goes back to Kate. The Doctor's in like a place called Limbo. This was one of the neatest things. They should have done this with the 50th Doctor, and they didn't. They show like a signpost, and leaning against the signpost, we have David Bradley playing the 1st Doctor. He was in the last Capaldi Doctor Who episode as the 1st Doctor. I believe he was the caretaker in the Harry Potter movies. Then it would turn into, the face would turn into Peter Davidson and Colin Baker, and then a little bit later Sylvester McCoy. They're all wearing Time Lord-ish robes, except for Paul McGann. This is only like his 2nd TV appearance. He's been on YouTube videos, and he's done audio videos for Big Finish, but this is only his 2nd appearance as the Doctor, and he's wearing normal clothes. And the Doctor goes, why aren't you? And he goes, in robes? I don't do robes. And Sylvester McCoy pops up and goes, his face takes over and goes, there's always one of them, and every time. There's a lot of stuff that happens. Ace is going through a volcano with her famous Nitro 9, gonna blow it up, stopping the Doctor. And Graham, Bradley Walsh, one of the Jodie Whittaker's companions, is there and helps her out. And it was great to see him again. I wish they kept him and not brought Dan. I didn't like Dan. And at the end, Tegan is falling down a elevator shaft when Yaz materializes the TARDIS in front of her, saving her. Kate and Ace escape. The headquarters as it explodes. Headquarters is destroyed. The Doctor goes and battles the Daleks. The Master uses an energy weapon, the energy beam that's powering up the volcanoes. It hits the Doctor, and also believe hits the Master, and they leave him behind. He's still, I don't know if he's dead or not. And Yaz goes out, grabs him, takes him back to the TARDIS, which has Yaz and Graham, I believe, and Ace and Tegan. And they send the metal plant back to where it came. They release the girl that they kidnapped at the beginning of the episode. I'm sorry, I should have said this. Was the power source. It was an energy being, and they release it. The Doctor fixes Vinder's ship before that, so he gets to escape too. Goes back to where he's from, and it's just Yaz and the Doctor near the end, and they're talking, and the Doctor looks down, and she's her hands glowing, which is a sign that she's going to regenerate. And she's like, her and Yaz go get ice cream. They're sitting out in orbit around the Earth, sitting on top of the TARDIS on the outside with the force shield protecting them, eating ice cream. And she goes, I need to do this next part alone. She materializes in England somewhere and lets her out, Yaz out, and they say, you can say, there's a non-verbal goodbye. And they show, when she's walking away, you see Dan and Graham walking by. They got pieces of paper. They got an invite to a meeting. And they said, did you get the invite? He goes, no. Next thing you see, it looks like an AA meeting, but Graham starts talking and goes, hi. And he says, it was all the companions, or most of them, who are still alive actors-wise in the 20th century. We had Dan, Graham, Yaz for Kate Stewart for the 14th Doctor. We had Mel, who was from the 6th and 7th Doctor. We had Joe Brandt, who was the 3rd Doctor. And they showed him. I know I'm missing somebody who was in that picture. And I knew who it was before they even gave his name. I'm sorry, I'm starting to cry. It was William Russell, who was the first companion of the Doctor, besides Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter. Ian and Barbara were the first companions of the Doctor, and it was Ian. And they're talking about this, and this, and one of the companions says, her is good, or her something about her, or she, and Ian says, excuse me, did you say she? And it was really a powerful scene. I want Susan. If they brought Ian back for this, they gotta bring Susan back for the 60th. There's no way around it. It ends with the Doctor in some bluff over a cliff over water outside the TARDIS, and she says a few words, and I love this. This was probably one of the best goodbye lines I've ever seen. To the next Doctor, whoever you are, tag, you're it. And her hands went outward like they do, and the energy started pouring out, and she started regenerating, and we weren't sure. We knew who was going to be the next Doctor, technically, but we didn't know if we were going to show him or Ncuti Gatwa, who's going to be the ultimate Doctor, the final Doctor for the during the storyline. And she turns into David Tennant, which was the 11th, 10th Doctor. Is he Eccleston was 10th or 11th Doctor, and that's how. And he goes, what? He goes, wait a minute, I recognize these teeth. What? That's how it ends. They go to a trailer, a very, very teeny weeny trailer, a few seconds long, which was a what's to come. And you see David Tennant's Doctor, you see Catherine Tate back as Donna Noble, and you see Neil Patrick Harris in a tuxedo with the long tail and the tall hat. I'm thinking, I still say, if he has a monocle on there sometime, he's looking like the Monopoly guy. And the celestial toy maker, we know for almost certain that's who he's playing, loves board games, so it fits. I was not a fan of the Chris Chibnall series era. I hated it. I loved a few of the episodes, but a lot of it, the writing was terrible. The storylines were terrible. It just was not great. Flux was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And I went to the Peter Davidson, Colin Baker, Tom Baker, John Pertwee, all of them. So that's saying a lot. But Chris Chibnall did this right. This should have been what they did for the 50th anniversary. We wanted old doctors back. We got them. We wanted old companions back. We got them. We wanted a really great story and we got it. I'm sad. The last few minutes this special was directed by Russell T Davies, the man who's coming back to fix Doctor Who. I can't wait. Oh, there was one other. They were using a hologram at one point, and so Ace got to make peace with the Sylvester McCoy Doctor, and Tegan got to make peace with the Peter Davidson Doctor. And they wanted Tom Baker for this, but he wasn't available scheduling wise. But they also had Joe Martin, the Fugitive Doctor. It was the African American or African British, what you want to call it, the black Doctor that was in the Fugitive of the Dune, and I think in the finale with that Timeless Child storyline. So they had like 8 Doctors, more companions than I can count, and 3 of the Doctor's greatest enemies in one movie. And it was well done. It didn't seem like they overdid it. It was perfect. I can't wait for Russell T Davies. I can't wait for the next Doctor. It's going to be a year before we get it. November next year. It sucks. Excuse my language. But I can't wait. Well, that's it for now. I got Stargirl, Masked Singer. I might just do last week's Masked Singer, this week's Masked Singer, one episode review. And Tales of the Jedi. I'm going to do the first episode. I haven't seen it yet. But alright, have a good day.